afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world today. Thank you for tuning into my page and for yet another interview that I have with some business owners. And today I am doing two people at once. We are interviewing Caroline and Jen, and they are business partners and a mom and daughter duo, actually. And they are doing things a little bit different, and we're going to hear from them in a minute. But I just want to shout out to all of you guys that are watching my page. A big thank you to you. You tune in each week and we do these interviews. And I do them for a couple of reasons. One is very selfish because I like to talk to people and to meet new people. Of course, we don't meet, we only meet over Zoom. And the other is to showcase to all my viewers that, you know what, this business is real. It's real people here, and we are from all over the world. And I've talked to people in many different countries right now. And today I am back in Canada speaking with these two lovely ladies. So I'm going to ask both Caroline and Jen to introduce themselves, tell us a little bit more about you, where you're living, and how long you've been doing this business. But welcome to my page.
Thanks, Kim.
Well, thank you very much, Kim. I'm Carolyn from Olds. We live in a small community that is just about to burgeon into a city. So I'm pretty rural in my upbringing and perspective. So I was introduced to the business, got my first inkling that this might be a good thing in late January of 2020. Then I thought, this is something I'd really like to let my family know about. And I contacted my daughter, Jen, and asked if she'd like to take a closer look. So Jen, take it away.
I'm Jen, and I am based in BC. Coming at you from beautiful Grand Forks. We're at our cabin right now, but most of the time I live in Vancouver. I've been an entrepreneur most of my working life. I've worked in the wellness industry most recently. And when Mom kind of put a bug in my ear about this business, I decided to have a look with her because I was really ready for a change. And I love my industry, but I was kind of ready for something new. And exciting. This was a way of kind of making a pivot without actually having to go back to school, like formal schooling. So this really appealed to me.
Awesome. Wow. Yeah, I can understand that. Wanting a change, but not wanting to go back to start over at school. So absolutely. Okay, so I guess my first question is, what on earth would you jump in to do a business when you're not even in the same province? You're separated. How is it working? Like, how can you make that work? And why? Why would you do that?
Yeah, fair question. I think if you told me that in my 40s I'd be starting a business with my mother, I would have laughed myself sick. Like, what? Why? How? What? But the timing was just right for both of us, and the kind of what was happening in like big picture in each of our lives. My dad had a bit of a health crisis, which meant that for Mom and Dad, like a new rhythm of life had begun, one where 9 to 5 working was just not going to be an option. And from my end, knowing that I needed a little bit more flexibility to be available for my folks if help was needed, and just being at a point where I needed change, investigating this option generally seemed like a good idea. And just because of the landscape of what was happening for us personally, doing it as a partnership really made sense, because I was still operating my own business and Mom was still working her 9 to 5, and we weren't kind of ready to go full bore, full steam ahead with this being our plan A, but as a plan B partnership, like it just made sense. And because it's all digital, it didn't matter that we weren't in the same province. Like, it just didn't matter. It just didn't matter. So we, that's what made sense for us.
Yeah, that's the one thing about being digital. The location is absolutely inconsequential. And Kim, you've had some great interviews in the past from all over the world. So, kudos to you for really making that point so clearly to our community and to your to your viewers.
Yeah. And it's true. It really doesn't matter when you work online. You can be in Timbuktu. It doesn't matter. As long as you have internet there, we're good.
Indeed.
That's right. And I can certainly identify with your story about Jen being wanting to be available for your parents, because we lived and worked in Alberta for more than 12 years. And then the year before we moved, my dad had a couple of heart attacks and my mom passed away. And we were I felt I was in crisis because I couldn't be there when I needed to be there. And the bottom fell out of my world. And it's like, I got to go home. I just need to be home. And so we moved back to Newfoundland, gave up our good jobs and moved back to Newfoundland. And I am so thankful for this business because it's what's allowing us to stay home. And yes, my husband works remotely, thankfully. And but I don't have to do the 9 to 5. I don't have to get back into the rat race anymore. I love working online. I honestly love it. It gives me the flexibility. If Dad needs me to go to a doctor's appointment, then I can drop everything and go. And that's what I really wanted when we came home, to be able to be there for them. So I totally understand where you're coming from. So
that's
so
right.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful to have a business that gives you that flexibility. And you know what, I am like hardwired to help. I am a helper, and being geographically separate has been excruciating. Like, it has just been very, very excruciating. So finding ways that I can be helpful as a daughter from afar has been like the challenge of my 40s kind of thing. But the interesting thing about this business, and the interesting thing about being in business with Mom, is this is like a level of helping that I wouldn't have thought possible. Like, working together in this way, like I am directly helping build my parents' financial security, like I am directly helping, Mom and I talk way more than we probably would otherwise. Like, I can be more involved in a really meaningful way. And it's wonderful. It's an unanticipated advantage of this partnership, is like this feeling of like a real boots on the ground kind of helping, even though I'm far away.
Yeah.
Well, one of the joys of doing it as a partnership has been to get a brand new level of appreciation for the superpowers that this wonderful human being has developed into. And going through a crisis together, we really had each other's backs in extraordinarily stressful times, and it would seem to be just a natural thing to continue that closeness. And we've got each other's backs, and we're calling each other on, looking after each other, and having that adult friendship with a daughter is pretty darn special. So I'm so blessed to have been able to cobble together, this whole partnership right from the get-go. And it was a continuation of a crisis, but there are blessings every time when you look at working together. So
that's right. Wow, that's so awesome. So inspiring, you guys. Okay, so what would you say in this journey would be the most important thing that you have learned since you began the business?
Mom's wanted to cuff me upside the head a couple times, mother to daughter, but as business partners, you kind of have to keep your socks pulled up in a different way.
Well, I'm sometimes worried that I'm going to bite my tongue off.
Right?
No blood has.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. She did. I mean, she calls me on a lot of BS, and so we're both people becoming, and it's a lot more fun working together on our
I can imagine.
respective journeys.
I can imagine.
But I have to say that, yeah, I have to say that knowing that we were going to be working together on it, we were really careful on following the training.
Yes.
We both brought incredible skills and confidence in our work history from before, but just being humble enough and coachable enough to really make sure that we had systems in place that were shortcutting the communication, setting up some scheduling, being good accountability partners. I mean, that has been a little bit of a challenge, you know, when there are two people deciding as opposed to each of us flying off independently. We still have to rein that in a bit because we are our business partners. But having good systems in place and being coachable and following the training, it's made it so simple, you know, really.
Wow. You guys make it sound so easy. So easy.
Well, and
we are masters of illusion.
Why wouldn't we build two businesses with one set of posting? Why wouldn't we have a joint profile that allows us to be, you know, individuals at times, but also come together and really having the work that is being done benefiting two businesses, you know? So that was pretty strategic, I thought.
Yeah, it's the best of both worlds.
Good idea.
Yeah, awesome. So when you first started this, I know, Carolyn, you said that you saw it and then you asked your daughter to check in and look at it again. How did you know this was legitimate? Because so many people, when they see things online, their first instinct is that this is not real, it's a scam. And so many people have blinders on and they can't see beyond that. So how did you get past it? How did you reconcile with yourself that this was real, it is legitimate?
Well, first of all, I had a research project. So that was, you know, I was all over the map. I had a list of 10 questions that I had to tick these boxes. And the first thing that gave me confidence was the whole legitimacy of getting T4s. It wasn't something that anybody was working under the table. It was, and then looking at the people, checking the background of the people and the being confident about the integrity of the individuals that were putting their face forward in the organization. And I'd had a good exposure to a number of business opportunities in the past. Like, this isn't the first thing that I looked at. Okay. And so my familiarity with, you know, business models and the cost of getting it started up. And, you know, I had really realistic questions to ask of my coach when I had that coaching call. So, you know, I think because I'd had some exposure to online, well, to different business models and that sort of thing, it was easy to tick the boxes and move forward for myself. Now, super skeptic daughter, you know, had a whole different journey.
Yes.
Well, man alive, when mom called me about this, I was like, she is joining a cult. How am I going to stop this? Like, I thought for sure, 100% it's a scam. And it's this funny thing, like, it's this, like, I wanted to protect mom from what was surely going to be some Kool-Aid drinking nightmare. And there was something in me that so desperately needed a change for myself. And, you know, like, I don't know where I got this idea that I could protect my mom or whatever. That's a whole firstborn therapy issue aside. But once I got in and started watching those webinars, like that webinar that runs twice a week, I could see myself in it, you know, like there were lots of people, there's people from all over the world and people from all walks of life. But there was one woman on the panel that I could just tell she was a spreadsheet nerd like me. Like this woman had sat down and she had written down the numbers and she had evaluated. I'm like, yes, that is yes. Like that is how you make this decision. You look at the numbers, and because I've been running my own business for so many years, I knew the cost of the components that this business was offering freely, like the systems that they provide and like all the bells and whistles that they provide on the tech side. It's insane amount of value that is just built in to this opportunity. Like to pay for each of the components that are just rolled into this system is so expensive. I'm like, what? Like so the value of it was really extreme. And, you know, like I like to think of myself as a reasonably smart cookie, but that also makes me being that sort of arrogance, it makes me easily duped. So I really had to watch that webinar a few times to see, is the story changing? And the story never changed. And, you know, one of the tricks that I've looked at or used before when I'm trying to make up my mind about someone or something, if I'm watching a video, is I turn the sound off and I just watch their body language and I watch their face. And people's bodies don't lie. Like I know that as someone who works in the wellness industry, bodies don't lie. And the people that you see in these videos are so sincere. And so like they are speaking from their guts and bones about how this business has changed their life, changed their future, what they love about it. And the messaging is always the same. The people are amazing. The systems are amazing. The business model is amazing. And you just hear that again and again and again. And eventually that kind of erodes that niggling, skeptical voice in your head. And you go, okay, I got to give this a shot.
I can certainly identify because I saw this business first and I brought it to my husband. So I watched the webinar and brought it to my super skeptical husband. Nope, you're being scammed. You're being scammed. Don't you know better than this. You're a smart cookie. You know better than this.
Yeah.
You gotta watch. No, seriously, you gotta watch this. Eventually he watched it and he was like, maybe there's something to it. So we watched, I don't know how many we watched, and a lot. And then we would scope them out on Facebook. So we creeped everybody. Everybody.
That's so much creeping.
Yeah, everybody. Channels, we did. We creeped them out, and like you said, the messaging was always the same. It was never a different message. It was always the same. It was always, this is what we're doing. This is the impact it's made. And that many people can't be wrong, is what I say. Mm-hmm. So I say, you know what?
It's too big a lie to be organized. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't keep that many people with their story straight. Like it just doesn't work.
It doesn't work. So there's got to be something to it. So I said, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm just doing it. So I can totally know where you were. Okay, so I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but for the people that are watching that still haven't jumped in on this business, that probably watch these interviews every single week, what are some last words of advice you would give them as to what they should do if they're still wondering what to do?
Well, from my perspective, it's just never too late to change your story. To have a plot twist, you have to do something different if you want a change. So what have you got to lose to take the next step? It's not, it can be life changing. So do it. Do it.
Be bold, be brave, be bold, be brave, and watch the darn webinar. Like it's such a small, low risk action that you can take that can literally change your life. So be brave and watch the webinar.
And just do it.
Just do it.
It's as easy as that. Just do it.
It's so easy. It's so easy.
Well, I thank you guys so
Ask
much.
Good questions.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on my webinar, on my Facebook page today and for sharing your story. It's been a joy to talk to you. And I pray many blessings on your journey as you go forward, and that you will just, grow closer, even though you're far apart, but your business will multiply and abundance will be yours. That's our prayer. For everybody. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you.
Alrighty, that's all for today, folks. So take care and bye-bye until next week.
Thank you, Kim.